All right, and we are here. Welcome back to the Profit Lab. I am Marie Torossian, CPA and 10X certified business coach, and I am so glad you're here. If you're new to the show, go ahead and subscribe, like my channels wherever you're watching and or listening, so you can get the alerts when we drop the new episodes each week, which is every Wednesday at noon Eastern time. And that's on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Podbean, and more listening channels as well. So today we're diving into pillar number 1 of valuation-MT methodology, and that's going to be about your vision and value clarity. Now, why does vision matter, right? Most business owners are so busy working in their business that they never stop to think about where they're heading. And here's the problem. If you do not have a clear vision, you're going to chase every shiny object. I've been there, and I know you have been there too. When you're not clear on where you're going, everything seems like the right thing, and you want to jump on everything, but then nothing gets done, right? So we don't want to do that. So you say yes to the wrong clients. I've been there too. I totally understand not really having the right clients. And that's, again, because there's no clarity about the type of people we want to work with and we want to serve, right? So on your end, I want you to start thinking about this. Who are the wrong clients you've been working with before and you don't want to work with again? So we want to clear that. Build a business that doesn't align with your life goals. Let's think through that. A lot of times we start business because, let's say, we want to replace our employee income, but then it gets to a point where it doesn't really align with your life goals are. You have kids, or you get married, or something else happens. Someone gets sick, and then things start requiring, life requires more of you, and then it just doesn't align with your business anymore. And then burnout before even hit your potential. I mean, that would be so sad if you're right at the edge of hitting it and you don't, and something happens and you burn out. So the idea is that your vision is your North Star. So it really guides every decision that you make, and it really helps you just wake up every day for that vision and that goals that you've set, right? So today, I want to go a little bit deep into this. And then, so there's 3 questions every business owner should answer and must answer for themselves. Okay, you ready? Okay. Number 1, where am I going? What's your 3-year vision? Again, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of times we start with just thinking about replacing employee income. However, at some point that vision changes, and the only way you're going to see where you're going is to build some type of a financial visual of 3 years. And I'm going to go into it a little bit more now. So that's that vision. Like, where am I going? What's happening in 3 years? And then why does it matter? Your purpose and your mission. We're going to talk about that. And then number 3 is, what value do I bring? What is your unique positioning? So these are the questions. Again, I'm going to repeat so you can track it. 3 questions every business owner must answer for themselves is, where am I going? Why does it matter? And what value do I bring? All right. So let's break these down a little bit more. So question number 1, when we say, where am I going? Think 3 years out. What does your business look like? How much revenue are you generating? Have you actually created multiple revenues of income? Maybe not. But what does that look like? What you're making today, what are you making in 3 years? How much profit are you keeping? Do you know how much expenses do you have now versus in 3 years? Have you actually visualized it maybe in some type of a spreadsheet? Right? Put in these numbers that make the assumptions of, where am I going? How does that fit? And so how much profit are you keeping? 10%, 20%, 30%? Right? The higher the profit margin, the better. So what KPIs are you tracking for that? How many hours are you working per week? right? Some of us, when we first start, there's a lot of things we're doing. We're wearing multiple hats. So we end up working more and more and more hours right up front, right? Because we're alone. But then what does that look like a few years later? If you're still doing the same thing, you're not going to be growing, right? You're going to be stuck in the same place, just getting more burnt out. So what does that look like? What does your week look like? Is it, I'm working still 60 hours? Am I working 30 hours? Or maybe I'm still working, 40 hours, but I'm doing a whole different types of things. What maybe you were doing multiple hats that you were wearing. Now it doesn't look like that way. I need to shift to something else that is more in line with what I want to do and how I want to grow my business. Another question is, what does your team look like? How many employees do you need to get to that place 3 years out? So all of that are stuff that you can do internally with a team member or with your accountant, if they're proactive accountants, and figure out these numbers, make those right assumptions to visualize where you're going financially. So, and the other one is like, what type of clients are you serving? Not every client is a great client. We all know that. And that's what I brought up earlier, is that, sometimes you're working with clients that are just not the best, right? They don't match with our values. They just don't. And, and it could be times where we just need a client and we need to do a service. We need the cash. So we take on these clients, but at the end of the day, they're not the right clients. So when you have a clear vision of where you want to go, what type of people you want around you, it's going to make a big shift on how intentional you are when you're actually onboarding clients, team members, vendors, whatever that is. So write this down and be very specific, because this is going to be your roadmap. With me so far? Good. Let's go. Question number 2. Why does it matter? Your why is what keeps you going when things get hard. So what really makes you wake up, right? So ask yourself something like, why did I start this business? Earlier, I said, again, like some of us just started because we were employees and we don't want to be employees anymore and we want to have our freedom. For me, it was a couple of things, which was having more of a ceiling of, not being able to be promoted further. And it was, there was no more new things I was learning. It was just seemed like I'm in this tight place of no growth, and I did not want that. And at the same time, it was just, my family was growing and I needed more time freedom. So that's the initial reason why I started. So think about why you started this business. And then what impact do you want to have in your community, on your family, in your church, whatever that is. And then the other one is, what legacy do I want to leave? So 3 questions. Why did I start the business? What impact do I want to leave or have? And then what legacy do I want to leave? A lot of times we start the business and we're not even thinking about the legacy and what happens when something happens to us. Recently, a friend of mine was telling me about his friend who had an established business for many, many years, and he just got sick and then very quickly, got deteriorated and passed. But there was no succession plan for his business. So his wife is now going to just wrap up things and just figure it out. So do you really want to leave that for your family? So perhaps this is also a reason to think about, what is the legacy? What does that succession plan look like for my business? So if all of this, the main question to this is, why does it matter to do this business? And if your answer is how to make, just because you want to make money, so this is not really going to last, because money really is the result of the work that you do, and it's not really a purpose. So when we talk about why does it matter, we're talking about what is the purpose? What's the reason that, yet you wake up and you do what you do? Okay, so it's more like go back to the soft side of things, like why, right? And then question number 3, what value do I bring? So this is more of your value proposition, like what makes you different. Most business owners say things like, we provide a great service. We care about our clients. I hope you do, right? And we're experts in our field. And look, there's nothing wrong about, showcasing your expertise, but I think it's the way we say it. So we want to be more clear about the who versus us, like who, the client. What do they want? What do they need? What's the problem we solve for them? So I want you to think about specific problems that you solve for your clients, right? Whatever that is. And then who do you solve it for? Think of your, maybe your best clients, and who are they? What age are they? Create a client persona so that you can create more of that replicable client base that you need that can help you get to your 3-year financial plan. And why should they choose you? Why are you the best choice? So for example, for me, the way I've created my unique value proposition is by combining my expertise in accounting and in coaching and team leadership, all of that together into what I call the VALUEATION-MT methodology. I use that to, serve our clients in the CFO advisory role or as a coach. So it's the same and similar methodology. And so that's what makes me unique. So I want you to think about what makes you unique. What is your unique value proposition? So here's the thing. As we wrap up our episode every time, I want to leave you with something to do. I want this to be a really impactful episode that you get so much value in such a short time. It's not about, 45, 30 minutes, 3-hour, sessions here. It's more of a short and sweet and very direct to results. So here's what I want you to do. I'm giving you a vision clarity exercise. I want you to write your 3-year vision and be as detailed as possible, just like the examples that I gave you. You can always come back and listen to this again to help guide you. Then I want you to define your why. What's the deeper purpose behind your business? Why do you wake up in the morning to do this work? What makes you so excited about it? It's not the money, right? The money is the result. So what is it? So break it down. Because when things are tough, and things do get tough in an entrepreneurship, I want you to go back and look at that, your why, and say, oh, this is why I started. When I'm doing coaching with clients, that's something that I bring up all the time. And it's one of the key things that I ask right up front, because I want to know what really drives them, because things will get tough. Things will get thrown at them. They will get sick. A team member will leave, and all these things with that happen, and they come to the coaching call completely defeated. And how can I, as a coach, bring them back and get them excited is to bring them back to the why. Why did you start this? Why is it important to you? So I want you to do the same to yourself. And then number 3, craft your value proposition. This is usually a one sentence that captures what you do and who you serve. A simple example is what I call is the I help statement. And the formula is I help who, struggling with what, solve for what in a specific time frame. So it could be, you place in the who with your type of client. Let's say it's small business. It could be women entrepreneurs, whatever that is. The problem, you make the problem statement. Let's say it's struggling with understanding their financials, right? And then what's the solution? It's getting clarity to be able to use financial data to grow their business within, let's say, 60 days, right? So that becomes the statement that you would say. There would also be a reference to you. So it's easy to introduce yourself with that. And it's also a great way to come back and have a simple, transparent way of showcasing your value proposition. So I'm going to recap here. Value clarity exercise, write down your 3-year vision, define your why, craft your value proposition. We're good? Okay. One more extra bonus is your profit question of the week. And this is what we'll do at the end of every episode. If you could only work with your dream clients for the next 3 years, who would they be and what would you help them achieve? I'm going to repeat. If you could only work with your dream clients for the next 3 years, who would they be and what would you help them achieve? This is kind of bringing you back to what I mentioned earlier, your client persona, right? Your client persona is your best client that you have, that you love working with. So then just how do you replicate that? So I want you to go back and think about it and write it down. Just don't think about it alone. Just write it down. I want everything written down. Okay, you got it? Good. Okay, how are you going to achieve this, right? Here are quick action items. Block 1 hour this week to work on this exercise and the profit question of the week. Good. If you're not blocking time on your calendar, you're missing out. I have my own system of how I do it. I color code everything, and the only time that's a white calendar, it means I'm sleeping. So block time, be committed, and then do it. Then I want you to share your vision with someone you trust, because accountability matters. And that's why a lot of people would love having coaches, because they have that accountability. I can, as a coach, I check in on all my clients. If they've finished what they say, what they will do from one session to another. So all the homework items have to be done. So in your case, if you don't have a coach, you don't have me, that's okay. You can have someone trustworthy, a partner, your spouse, whoever it is, to share that with. And then I want you to set time on your calendar to revisit and look at it again in 3 months. So every quarter, I want you to revisit your vision and look at what you've achieved, and if there's anything changed, so you update it. Sounds good? Excellent. All right. We are close to a wrap right now. So next week, what I'm going to be covering is assessment and analysis portion of my VALUEATION-MT methodology. We're going to be diving deep into your numbers and identifying the gaps holding you back. And again, just want to remind everyone to please go ahead and subscribe, like the channel, share it with other friends. I have my goal of reaching the next phase on my subscriber list, because I want to help so many people. So help me get there by subscribing and liking and sharing. So with that, I will see you next week, Wednesday, noontime Eastern. Until then, have an amazing, amazing week. Go get productive.